one thing that audiences can do and you can do, and this is a win-win situation, is when these zip code plays are released, is to download and listen to them. Give them your time. They're going to be free. You don't have to pay for them. And in this age and time, something that's free that was fully professionally produced is a gift. But it's win-win in that we need an audience. And we're putting it out there in the ether, and we need you to come listen to it. That's how we survive. And it's not about money, obviously, because we're not making it off of this and you're not paying for it. So it's the ultimate in true art. You're going to get an experience. And so I hope you get to listen to them all and, start with mine and see how you go from there. But then, listen to them all. Hi, my name is Alex Goldberg, and if you want to learn more about me as a playwright or my play, Annexing the Palisades, watch this video. As for the zip code plays, it was a wonderful idea because in this time, as I call them coronial times, we don't have the outlet of theater. And, Zoom plays readings are a great option, but I believe we're all getting Zoom fatigue. And, a lot of us are working on Zoom. And then, one of the joys of theater pre-coronial times was you got to leave your computer behind and sit in front of real people. And we're losing that with Zoom. It's still better than nothing, and I do appreciate it. But the radio plays was a great alternative. They were going to take plays specifically designed to be broadcast as a radio play and design it completely. Jeff Gardner's doing the production design. He's fantastic on all 6 plays. And so it was a great opportunity to create something that could exist as a stage play, but also would be initially performed as a radio play. So they opened up this idea to the lab members, the playwrights in lab, of which at the time there were, I believe, 40 something. And they said, we're going to take 6 ideas. Whoever wants to pitch, you could pitch it. And they, commissioned the play from us, contracted it from us. And we went from there. So I was very fortunate that my idea was chosen, and I was happy to write it from that point on. My specific play in the zip code plays is called Annexing the Palisades. And it came from a very real and sordid place in Los Angeles' history. I'm a big history buff. I was an American Studies major in college, and I've been in LA now for nearly a decade, and just love finding out little quirky details. And LA, like any major city, probably more than many major cities, has a lot of dirt under there. I mean, it's part of the sheen of Hollywood. And Annexing the Palisades is inspired by the truthful activities that took place at what is called the Murphy Ranch. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but the Murphy Ranch is a compound in the Palisades that was built in the 30s. And this is going to be a bit of a spoiler for the play, but it was built by a couple of wealthy people, initially from Chicago, who were building a compound that was to be self-sustaining. Most people believe it was to ride out the war, World War II. They knew war was coming and the chaos that followed it. And because they were Nazi sympathizers, they believed that the country was going to fall into chaos. Some believed that they were actually building a winter home for Hitler. They thought that when the war was over, Hitler would want to winter in Los Angeles. So that was what the compound was going to be. That's a bit far-fetched, but there's no real proof of that, but it's feasible. It is definitely true that these people were among the neo-Nazi movement, the alt-right, as we would call them today. And it was fascinating to me because, racism and anti-Semitism never goes away completely. It gets buried from time to time. And in enlightened eras, sometimes people do learn about how to not be racist to people. But it was fascinating to know that even then, even leading up to World War II, there were a good number of people in this country who sided with the Germans. I mean, we've seen it a lot in the recent The Plot Against America series that was based on the great Philip Roth novel that covers that ground. But that was the inspiration for my play. And being Jewish, anti-Semitism is there. It always is. You hear about it, and you hope it goes away, but it keeps coming back. The play is about Winona and Norman Stevens, who own this big house in the Palisades, and they hire a wood craftsman named Joseph Kurtz to come in and give them an estimate on a fantastic balustrade or banister that they want carved that's in their main foyer. So that's how the play starts, and these are the three characters that are in the play. The couple wants the banister, and Kurtz wants to build it for them, but then as we learn more and more, it becomes much more of a difficult endeavor. It's always been a joy to work with Antaeus actors, and this is no exception. And so first off, I was paired up with the great Ann Noble. She's a fantastic actor and director, and ironically, one of the first performers I saw when I moved to Los Angeles. I saw her in a one-woman show about Barack Obama's mother, and she was amazing, fantastic. And who knew that, a decade later I'd be working with her. So she was great. She loved the piece. And we sat down and came up with an amazing cast list and we can go with this person, we can go with that person, we can go with this person. There's so many great actors to choose from. The only caveat was that because of the nature of the recording, we couldn't use real life couples because they were going to be recorded on these fancy systems that were sent to their houses. And you could only have the bandwidth one person, at a time in a house. So our lead actress is Nikki Dukas, and she is really marvelous and fantastic. She's also an actor director who nailed the part. When she did a first read, I thought it felt like she had worked on it for a month. She was really fantastic. Playing her husband is Harry Groner, who's one of the original founders of Antaeus. Another one of my favorite actors. He works all the time in really wonderful stuff. Like me, he spent a lot of time in New York before coming out here, but just a really fantastic actor. He was great. And then our third actor is Adrian Latourelle. And I had not known him before, but I'd seen him perform, and I was just taken by his ability to. Some actors can really show a lot of gravity and emotion while not really giving you anything. You know what I mean? They're just fascinating to look at, and they have such depth without giving you too much. And he is like that. You watch him, and you are mesmerized by what he's doing. Unfortunately, you won't be able to watch him, but you'll be able to hear it in his voice. He's really just he carries a lot of gravity with him, and it's fantastic. The benefit of doing this production as a podcast is that it gets to be experienced in a fun, new way. Now, radio plays are not new and podcasts are not new, but to be able to stage a show where the environment is completely created around you, be it in the example of my play, construction in the background, and not just construction, but what does construction sound like in 1939? And music, there's music worked into the play itself. There's an old radio from the 30s that gets some use. So to be able to bring in these elements and have it be heard the way it should be heard in a very organic way is just a wonderful experience. And it was a great joy to write with that in mind, to be able to not only just write a play that can stand up on its own on stage, but also to think about that element, that sense you're hearing. You can only focus on hearing. What do you get to hear? It was a great challenge for me and a lot of fun, and I look forward to hearing how it turns out. And of course, we have a composer who's tying in all of the pieces together, all six plays, and she is doing, altering themes for each play and stuff. But that's just gonna be great. Just compose music to go along with it. It's gonna be a fun experience. I would like the audience to take a few things from this play. One, hopefully to be entertained by it and to feel the gravity of the moments as they unfold. But two, also to realize that your neighbors may not be who you think they are. I think everyone has skeletons in their closet. Some of them are obvious and some of them are not so obvious. And, when you think about upscale neighborhoods like the Palisades, you have certain ideas in mind. One of it is wealth and great taste. And that does come into play here. But then there are other things which you may not have considered. And hopefully you'll think about that more after the play is over. There are a few things that excite me about this entire Zip Code play series. One is I love LA, and I love hearing about the neighborhoods that I don't know things about. Everyone has a cursory knowledge of certain neighborhoods. Some people who've been there their whole lives or for decades have, much more in-depth knowledge, but like you think certain things about neighborhoods, there's this type of food here, there's these type of people who live here, that sort of thing. But looking forward to learning more, digging in deeper. And the other thing I'm looking forward to is just hearing from the other 5 immensely talented writers. There are dozens of great writers in the Antaeus Playwrights Lab, dozens. And making this decision must not have been easy. And the other writers that they picked are fantastic. I want to hear what they have to say. I can't wait to hear it. And it's going to be in their voice. It's not going to be a uniformity to the storytelling between all 6 stories, other than the fact that there's a time limit and they're a radio play. But otherwise, it's going to be, I'm going to, listen in and be like, what's Carrie going to say? What's Angela J. Davis or Deb or Steve but like, what are they going to say? I can't wait to hear. Audiences must listen to the Zip Code play to get good storytelling and to give their eyes a break. We are all looking at screens all the time. If it is not your computer screen right now, it's the TV news, which is certainly a fantastic soap opera in itself right now, but this is a little more escapism, and this is just your ears. You're going to listen to a story. You can do it on a walk. You can do it in your car. You can do it at home. You don't need me to tell you where to listen to podcasts, but you get to hear a fully fleshed out story with fantastic actors and great design using just one sense. Hi, my name is Alex Goldberg, and I am the playwright of Annexing the Palisades, which is part of the Zip Code play series at Antaeus Theater Company. You can find the podcast and download it for free at antaeus.org.